Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video tip on I hinted on this last time in my Jquery tips and tricks, but this is really important. It's about Ajax and knowing when Ajax starts and when Ajax finishes. And I realized when just hinting on it last time that they really need to go into some detail on this because it's really important. So let me explain why I need this. So I have this store that I'm making, and the way this works is I choose from my attributes and I select one of these. This dynamically creates these text boxes based on a database, right? And I think the database is actually around here somewhere. Yeah, so if I can actually open the database and pull up the store and show you that those values actually exist, right? So here's those values. Obviously, they're sorted in a different way than you see them here, but obviously there's some code going on in the back end. I can show you how to do this later, but the main point is Ajax was used to load that. Let's look at the Ajax call for that. This Ajax call was a jQuery post calling this file, sending it these variables. When it gets back, it's repopulating the box. Okay? Simple stuff. I'm not going to go into that. The point I want to make is the user has no, say this is online and not on my development server. Sure, that was lightning fast here. Like when I do that, bam, it's done. But online, it may take a lot longer to make that Ajax call depending on the user's internet connection, and you may be doing some really heavy Ajax stuff later on instead of just making one SQL call. So what do? Well, one thing that I want to do is drop down a bar at the very bottom, down here at the very bottom, and that basically talks about Ajax calls. So let me actually show you what that looks like. I'll display it. So here's a bar that I made for the bottom. It's using WebKit's CSS gradient, and I'll just go through this with you real quick. It's 20 pixels high, 100% across, fixed to the bottom, right? Fixed to the bottom means I can do this, right? Kind of like the Facebook bar. It's margin left -8 because without that it would actually have some space here. Padding for the text so it doesn't flush the edge. Background color for, or the color of the text is going to be white. Background color is a backup color in case you're not using WebKit. And here's the WebKit gradient. I'm not going to go into that. I just picked it up off the internet. And for now, I'm going to hide it, okay? Because I want it to show up when there's Ajax. I don't want it to always be there, okay? So now we need to. What would you want from this Ajax? Well, what we need to do is send Ajax the object, the jQuery object. So to do that, let's just go right here, right before our Ajax call, and our object is box. Now remember, this box is not a jQuery box. It's a HTML JavaScript box. So we need to wrap it in jQuery tag. So now it's a jQuery object, and we want to send this object, right? So normally we would do .ajax start, but let's make this into a function that we can use over and over again. So let's send that, and let's send it this file so that I'll be able to explicitly show some helpful information at the bottom. So we'll call do Ajax start, okay? And we're going to pass it the jQuery box and the file name, okay? That's all it's going to do. Now, save that. Let's go into our JavaScript file and actually write this function. What we're going to do, we're going to call it function do Ajax start. We're going to pass it the object and the file, okay? Now, first things first, let's get that footer using jQuery selector. It's footer, right? We want to show that footer, and we're going to do it slowly so that I can show you what's going on. And then we want to apply a Ajax start listener to that object. Again, it's a jQuery object, so Ajax start is the function. Okay, and what do we want to do? Well, we want to affect that footer, and we want to fill it with some HTML, and we're going to call it just loading, right? Loading, colon, quote, plus the file name. So all it's going to do is it's going to tell you what file it's loading from. However, there's one last step, is we need to know when it's done. So in this same function, we're going to add the ending call, which is going to be object.ajax success. So when there's success, I'm going to call a function, and that is going to grab the footer, right? And then that's going to hide it. Now, I'm going to write another line here and then comment it out because I don't want to do it. But it's going to be grab that footer again, right? Quote pound footer dot. We want to clear out the HTML each time. I'm going to comment this out because if I do this, it happens right away, and you actually it doesn't wait for this slow to happen, so you can't actually see what's going on. So basically, let's go through this one more time. Call this function, send it to Jquery object in the file, show the bar, add a Ajax start event listener, load up the HTML, add the file name in there so it's nice and easy, call an Ajax success listener, and hide it. Okay, so let's see what happens. When I refresh, I'm going to select an attribute, and at the bottom, you can see, I know it was really quick, but you can rewind the video. I'll do it again. It actually loads and tells me what file it's loading from. See that? Now to make this really, really simple to move on, okay, just do Ajax start is the name. So let's go back to our edit actors PHP file. I have another function for saving right here, and I actually have this already commented out. Basically what this does is when you lose focus on a text box, it actually uses Ajax and saves that value to the database. Very cool procedure. Now I can use this Ajax function, very simple function. So I'll select it, Ajax is called. Now I edit blue, say black, and when I lose focus, I realize Ajax just happened. Again, if I'm on the internet, that actually will sit there for a second. And now if I go to a different one, Ajax is called, go back to color, and you can see Ajax actually worked and loaded that SQL database. So there you go. Now I know what I can do with Ajax when it starts and finishes. You could do a ton of stuff with that bottom bar. Instead of doing a bottom bar, you could make this whole page grayed out and have a box in the middle that says loading data. You could do a ton of stuff with this. So have fun with it. But there you go. That's how you tell when it's done and when it starts.